And happening right now, Sheriff Bob Norris is updating the media on the investigation into firefighters who were ambushed yesterday. 2 firefighters were killed and 1 was injured. Let's take a listen.
We've had a lot of resources at the crime scene. We've been working through the night, so many of these facts are subject to change. We believe that Rowley has prior residence in California, Arizona, and Idaho. We believe he was born in California. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office and Coeur d'Alene Police Department, we've had 5 interactions with Rowley. And of those 5 interactions, we've had 3, Coeur d'Alene Police had 2. They're very, very minor in nature. They had to do with more trespassing. He was trespassing at a location. He was asked to leave and he cooperated. We had some welfare checks on Rowley, and very, very minor. We don't show any criminal history for Rowley. We do have some social media presence for for Rowley. We find it disgusting to call him a Mr., but we don't have any much to go on. Here's some of his social media postings that were recently removed from social media. I believe this one was Instagram. And we have some copies of this that Lieutenant Mark Ellis will distribute. Where we're at with the crime scene. The crime scene is active. We still have the suspect's vehicle that is up down an embankment of the mountain. Deputies who responded on scene to protect life and engage the suspect thought it would be in their best interest to vehicle and flee. So we have not been able to find any manifesto. We have not been able to inventory the vehicle, although people that have seen the vehicle do believe it appeared as if he was living in the vehicle. There was a lot of debris that's in the vehicle, so that's all we have on that. Like I said again, we have not verified or found any manifesto. We have not done an inventory of that vehicle. I'd like to give you an update on the fire that we believe Rowley started. Rowley was found to be in possession of a flint starter, and we believe that was his method for starting the fire. That eventually led to firefighters responding. So as of right now, the fire is at 26 acres. It has not grown. It is a slow progress because it's very difficult terrain to get ground assets up there. We are put there. Line around it by dark tonight. There are no structures that are threatened. Again, I'd like to say that last night about 11 p.m. we did receive information that an individual jumped from Veterans Bridge. That is not related to this situation whatsoever. We don't find any nexus to the murdering of the 2 firefighters and injuring of 1.
You've been listening to Sheriff Bob Norris giving an update on those 2 firefighters who were killed after a suspect started a brush fire, is believed to have, and then opened fire when first responders came to the scene to try to tame it. We are going to take a break, but we'll return with more straight ahead.
You're watching Scripps News, part of the Scripps News Group.
All right, let's go back out to Idaho, where a sheriff is briefing the media on the shooting that killed 2 firefighters on Sunday.
Well, Kevin Smart, can you come up here just to be here, just in case somebody has any questions? And
Can I ask you one question? You mentioned that there was no prior record. Are you talking specifically in Idaho, or is this also for California and Arizona?
at this time, we can't locate a criminal record for this individual. Islamic Jihad, which is also being disseminated on social media. We don't find that there's a nexus to that either.
Sure. Are you taking questions?
Yes, we're going to take questions.
Alex with the spokesman interview. So are we clear, did the suspect die by suicide or was he shot by police? Do we know that yet?
It appears that he shot himself. Yes.
Do you know if he was stockpiling weapons up there or why he was on the island specifically? One gun, multiple guns?
We have information that he at one time wanted to be a firefighter. So we don't know if there's a nexus to that desire and what happened yesterday, but there is information that we've received that he at one time wanted to be a firefighter. So we're still processing the scene. It's going to take a few days to do that, especially with the current fire that's there. So, John?
Sheriff, have they had any communication with the fire district about a potential job there?
We have checked some of the fire entities here, and we have not located where he had either put in an application or put in some sort of a interest form. We have not found that yet. So that, yeah, we have not found that.
One more question here. It's Christy, a video on Instagram. Was this posted right before the ambush?
Well, it was discovered right before, but I don't know how long it had been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any indication of the motive?
Yeah, no, we don't have any indication of any motive at this time. And we, certainly we will continue to investigate that, but obviously we go on intent, and so, but we will certainly find out, or if there's any evidence to believe that there was a motive, we will do that. And I think an inventory of the vehicle would be a good place to start.
Do you think his desire to potentially become a firefighter is part of this?
We just don't know. Yeah, we just don't know. The gentleman.
These firearms, has that been determined yet? If
What?
these were his firearms that were used, or were they someone else's?
Has not been determined yet. The lady in the green.
Sheriff Cody Proctor with Coeur News. You mentioned that he had had interactions before with law enforcement, but had he had interactions before with firefighters?
We did not check to see if he had any interaction with firefighters. We do know that he did contact the firefighters when they came on scene, and there was a discussion. So, so we're still in the process of investigating that part of it. Gentleman in the blue in the back.
Sheriff, okay, so talk to me about, why you're sharing this Instagram post. Talk to us, what does it look like when you're looking at this, what it symbolizes to the project?
Well, we're trying to collect any and all information, and those social media posts are what we call open source information. So this is all in an effort to find out intent, to find out if there was any other, if there was a motive or whatever the case may be. But
And another question. We had some people that live in the area of the evacuation zone last night, or this shelter in place. They say they didn't get a phone call, they didn't get a text. How does your system work? Was there a text that went out, or how did you let people know?
yes, absolutely. Part of our Kootenai alerts system, we sent out a text, I believe, a 5-mile radius, And I encourage people who live or frequent the area to sign up for Kootenai alerts. So
that's an opt-in service?
well, yes, yep. The gentleman in the blue.
Sure. The welfare checks that you guys initiated,
Yep.
were they given by a relative, a parent calling you to check on him, or are they concerned about his mental health?
No, it was generally a reporting party who called and saw a vehicle that was either parked near their property or on their property. One was a restaurant where he appeared to be residing at. He was asked to leave and he complied. So none of them that we have at this time were called in from a relative. They were called in from a property owner or passerby. The gentleman there in the...
Sheriff, can you describe the weapon that you found next to?
It appears right now we have a shotgun that was used, but we're still processing the scene.
So obviously a shotgun is not a sniper weapon.
Correct.
Do you know what kind of weapon that was?
Well, we're still processing the scene, but let me kind of set the scene for everybody. When you're in a rural area and you're heavily treed, heavily brushed, and when you're taking fire, then it just adds a whole different dynamic to the situation. So what was reported by people on scene, by peace officers on scene, that they believed they were taking sniper fire, yes.
All right, you've been listening to Sheriff Bob Norris in Idaho giving an update on the investigation into the killing of 2 firefighters as they were responding to a brush fire in that state near Coeur d'Alene. We're going to take a break, but return with more after this. All right, let's go back out to Idaho. A press briefing is underway on those 2 firefighters who were killed on Sunday.
If Wes was the person who called 911, who made the initial 911 call.
Still under investigation. If that is the case, he did not use his real name. So, but it certainly will be part of the investigation. But we had an individual called, a male, and he did not use the suspect's name. So.
And one more clarification, because I think I misunderstood. Did you say there was an interaction with first responders?
There was an interaction with the firefighters.
When they first arrived on the scene?
Correct.
What was that then?
It had something to do with his vehicle being parked where it was.
Okay.
So, yeah. The gentleman in the blue in the back.
Sir, can you tell us what type of bullets then were used in the attack on the 2 or 3 firefighters? Obviously, you didn't know they were shot there.
Right. Well, we know that rifled slugs were used, and a rifled slug is a pretty big projectile. Anybody know off the top of their head how many grains a rifled slug is?
Full gauge is 1 ounce.
Yeah. So generally going to be a 1 ounce piece of metal. But we also have some fragmentation of something. So it's still early on. You know, we have some smaller projectiles, and we don't know if that was a fragmentation of one of the rifled slugs or another weapon. Like I said, we are still processing that scene. The firefighters are putting water on it, so we're still processing that. Yes, sir.
Sheriff, can you tell us how sophisticated you think this ambush was? Or do you think this was an interaction that went badly? And one more thing, we were just right outside the scene, and we saw a firefighting vehicle come down with 3 completely flat tires. Were spikes used? Was that part of the ambush?
No, part of once the rounds started to exchange back and forth, and when deputies got on scene.
You've been listening to an update from Idaho on that shooting there yesterday of firefighters. We're going to take a break, but return with more after this.